Welcome to the Spiral Up podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Lachelle Weemy, a peak performance coach and business strategist dedicated to helping you see what's possible within you, the blind spots that are holding you back, and the solutions to ensure success and fulfillment without the hustle. I use my secret sauce of metaphysics, brain science, and scripture to work with God to manifest your ideal life and business. If you're ready to create massive forward momentum in your business and bust through the blocks that drag you down, join me on the Spiral Up journey and create the clarity, confidence, and consistency to become the CEO that lives your life by design. It's time to create the sustainable impact, income, and time freedom you desire faster. Now is the time to spiral up. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Spiral Up podcast. I am your host, Dr. Lachelle Weemy. It is so amazing to be here with you. Thanks for tuning in to the Spiral Up podcast, where you are on a journey to completely spiraling up to make massive impact, massive income, and make more time with the people that you love. And I am so excited today to talk to you all about prioritization. You guys, as entrepreneurs, especially as women entrepreneurs and mompreneurs, it is really important that we maximize the 24 hours that we are given in a day, because Lord knows that we can be taken into 100 billion different directions. And if we do not have some intention around how we're spending those minutes, we are going to be looking back at the end of the month, end of the quarter, end of the year, wondering where the heck the time went, wondering what we have to show for it, and wondering why our goals are not being met. Now, you guys, if we learn to prioritize and we learn to master the way that we utilize our time, we can master our ability to make that impact. We can multiply our impact. We can multiply our income, and we can look back on the month, the year, the quarter, the decade, and be like, holy crap, like this freaking happened, right? And so I am absolutely here as a person who had to study this, you guys, because I recognized that there were two things that were holding me back several years ago. One of them was my lack of confidence in myself and the way that I postured myself. The second one was my time management. Lord knows that I had the vision, right? I saw what was possible, but I also had the priority of being a present mom, being a present wife, and wanting to grow my online business alongside of my very healthy multiple six-figure income so that I could leave the corporate grind and get into living my life by design. And I felt completely trapped. I felt like there was not enough time in the day. I felt torn between what I knew I needed to do and what I wanted to do, and I just was not seeing the impact and the income and the progress that I wanted to make. And so I had to decide to become a student of time management, productivity, and really start to master the 24 hours a day. Now, here's the deal. Here's the truth of the hug. We all are given the same 24 hours. And why is it that some people seem to get so much more done? Why is it that some people seem to have more results in the given time period that they are in? Why is it that some people seem to have it easier? And friends, I'm going to tell you right now that all of us have the same amount of time. It is what we do with that time, and it's the way that we prioritize our time that is going to make the difference. It's living each moment with intention and not being reactive to things, but being proactive to things and telling our time where to go, just like we would in any budget, any Dave Ramsey $0 budget. I have to think of my time in the same way. I cannot approach my day in a reactive mode. I have to think about it in terms of, is this activity, is this thing on my to-do list, is this spot on my calendar going to give me what I need and what I want? And that does not always apply to income producing activities. It might very well mean, am I making a priority in my day to be a wife, to be a mom, to be a friend? And we're going to dive into so many of those different topics in the weeks to come here on the Spiral Up podcast. All right. But today it's going to be all about prioritization. Now, I want to just kind of share this really fun story with you, because I feel like this activity has been so monumental with myself and the people that have joined me on my retreats that I wanted to share this with you. I wrote about it in my book as well. So check out Get Out of God's Way for more details on this. But part of my curriculum at my retreats is to take my participants through an activity where I have them draw, like actually physically with colored pencils and markers, on this, hard cardstock what their life feels like right now. What is their current reality? And I do this in a very specific way so that we can utilize different parts of our brain and kind of ditch the logic for a moment and allow for our feelings to take place and allow for us to be able to get in this creative space to recognize like maybe what we're experiencing that we don't want to experience anymore. Okay. And then what I do is I have them get out the most beautiful color that they can and articulate in a drawing what they want their desired life to look like. And that one is really fun because I watch it come to life. And I do this for myself every single time I'm at the retreat. And I actually have my original one in a frame in my office that I can literally stare at right here, right now. Okay. Now, after the drawing is all done, I have them be able to look at the drawing on the current reality on the left and the desired reality on the right. And what happens is our brain can actually start to put things in the place of empty space. So I'm going to give you an example. If I were to give you guys a paragraph right now and some of the words had missing letters, you would be able to fill in those missing letters and read the paragraph as if those letters were there. It's the way that our brain can put in place the things that are missing when there's missing information. And it does that from our memory of all of the things, all of the memories, all of the ideas, all of the imaginations, all of the thoughts that you've ever had are stored like file cabinets inside of your subconscious. And your brain can put in the missing pieces. So I have them look at this picture and I have them imagine that if they could do any 3 big, bold steps that would get them from the left side of that paper to the right side, what would those bold steps be? Now, I'm not asking them to dig into their logic. I'm asking them to just imagine and allow their brain to start putting in the missing piece of the puzzle. And when I did that at the latest retreat in October and September in Costa Rica, I had 3 big, bold steps that showed up for me. And it allowed me then to plan out where I wanted to focus my time and effort and energy over the next 12 months. I looked at the things that's like, wow, if I do this, then the rest of these things are going to fall into place. If I do this, then it's going to make this, this, and this easier. And that's a big, bold move that if I just get courageous enough to do, that those types of things can happen afterwards. And I allowed myself to formulate, like, what's a big picture? How many retreats do I want to host? How many live launches do I want to share? How many, how many other activities are going to be a priority for me versus just other things that are going to just take up time and energy, right? And so for me, one of my tasks is I'm going to record an audiobook of Get Out of God's Way. I'm going to put this out there right now. I can't believe I'm saying it out loud, but I am going to do a TED Talk. That's on my list because I want to get my message out. And I know that it's going to cause a ripple effect of other things. I am going to do 2 retreats in this next year. I am going to do 5 live launches, and I am going to speak at a specific event on a stage. Like those are my things. And so when I'm able to know what my big goal is, and what are some key bold steps that I can do to get there, it's going to allow me to prioritize all of the other activities that I have. And so getting clear on where you want to go and getting clear on a few bold moves that are going to help you get there are going to help you have the bigger picture that you need to start diving in and making those decisions on the small ones. The other thing that I do when it comes to prioritizing, and this is a very just simple, practical step, is I use my soul planner. And if you guys have been following me for a while, you know that I love my soul planner. I absolutely find that it is so monumental in helping me get all of the clutter that's in my brain onto a plan. And part of the thing that the curator of the soul planner, Sarah, has us do is every single Sunday, she encourages us to do a brain dump. Now, a brain dump is literally writing down everything that I need to do, every tiny little task that I have to get done. And it allows me to just get it out of my brain and onto paper so that I can make sure that it's not taking up precious energy and real estate inside of my head. All right. Now, once I have done my brain dump, I have to then think of the 3 main steps, 3 main tasks from that brain dump list that I need to get done this week. And if nothing else gets done but those 3 things, then I'm going to consider my week a success. What are the 3 most pivotal steps that I have to do this week that are going to go allow me to move into the bigger goal? What are 3 priority steps that allow me to be mindful and work towards those bigger goals that I have in order for me to achieve the bigger overarching goal, right? So for example, one of my tasks this week was to reach out to the person that owns the home that I want to rent for the February retreat. Because if it's not available during that week, then I have to either decide on a different week, decide on a different venue. But once I do that, then I can start to organize, the sales page and reach out to the people who have been interested in it, which by the way, if you are, there's only space for 7 people. I haven't officially, been promoting it a ton. So if you want one of those spots, make sure that you reach out to me ASAP. Okay. So I needed to do that though, because that was like a big priority step, right? I also know that I am going to be having my Maximize Your Time workshop coming up here in a few weeks as well. So what are the things that I need to have done for that? It's like, okay, I need to identify the curriculum and I need to reach out to the couple of guest experts that are going to help me host this. So those are some key things that have to get done. The rest of the stuff can fall away. The rest of the stuff will find its space, but I needed to get those 3 things done. And then everything else then is a bonus. So think about what are the things that are absolutely necessary to move your goals forward. And I find that when I have attached a time to things, it helps me to prioritize it as well, right? So the fact of the matter is that I needed to book that resort or that villa before somebody else did, because it's such an amazing, amazing beachside villa, right? So I knew that the time was sensitive on that. I also know that because my Maximize Your Time Masterclass, the workshop, is coming up on November 8th, I needed to start getting the pieces together in place. And the other things like the summit that I have afterwards, that will come after. That will be a lower priority because of the time. So thinking about it, and if you don't have a time attached to it, I'm going to encourage you to do that, because it's going to help you to prioritize whether or not it needs to be done now, next week, or next month, or next year. Okay? All right. The next thing that I want to do is to encourage you guys to not underestimate the power of momentum. Okay, so I don't know about you, but sometimes when it comes to getting the things done that I have to get done, it can take a lot for me to get myself moving. And I have found that it's not what we do, it's who we are while we do it. So if I am in this like mediocre energy, I don't have a lot of, spring in my step, I'm not excited about what I'm doing, I am not going to be as effective and efficient in doing the things that I have to do. So when I can get myself to a higher energy, to a higher vibration, to a space where I'm like, all right, let's go, let's do this, I know that my actions are going to be more fruitful. And one of the things that I have found, and if you are on Facebook, you may have received one of these messages, but I absolutely love sending voice messages to people. I love sending messages to brighten their day. I love sending messages to let people know that I'm thinking about them. Now, I know that it's a great way to bless other people. And if you can think 5 people every day that you can send a message to, just to say, hey, I don't necessarily need to hear back from you unless you want to, but I just want to let you know I was thinking about you today. I hope you're having an amazing day and just keep shining, sister. Like something like that, that feels good and it helps me know I'm blessing someone. It took me 5 seconds to do. And guess what? I am getting my energy raised because I am blessing somebody else. And I have this new vibration that I'm practicing from. And so what I found is that if I reach out to my 5 people, it takes me less than a minute to do that. And now all of a sudden my vibration's higher. I have more energy. I'm ready to go. I'm coming from a place of impact, of service, of high vibes. And now those big daunting things on my list don't quite seem so daunting because I've taken myself out of, deadlock, standstill, and I've started to move the stone. I've started to roll the stone. I've started to get myself into a momentum that allows me to tackle the rest of the things on my list with more effectiveness and efficiency. So don't underestimate the little things that maybe don't seem as important, but the bigger impact of that energy is going to help you with everything else to follow. Now, if you're still feeling like, oh my gosh, Lachelle, I still am completely overwhelmed by all of the things on my list. I don't even know where to start. I'm just going to ask you this. What is something on that list? And sometimes, literally, you guys, it's just as simple as writing everything off and getting it out of your head. Brain dump it right now. Get it out of your head, okay? And then look at that list and say, okay, which one of these things on this list is going to be the quickest for me to get done, but the most impactful? What is going to be the most fruitful thing that I could do? It's going to take me a moment. Like, I'll be honest, like, I reached out to the villa owner this morning. It took me a whopping 30 seconds to say, hey, we love staying at your place in September. I would absolutely love to book it for February. I'm just wondering if these dates are available, and is the rate the same? That took me less than 30 seconds, but it felt amazing. And now I get to cross that big priority thing off my list because everything else is going to fall into place, because he said, hey, guess what? It is available. It's yours. Yay. I'm so excited, right? So I was able to take something that didn't take very much time, but it was super impactful. And so now all of these other things that I have are going to start falling into place. I had the opportunity this morning to reach out to a couple of the experts that I want to join me for the Maximize Your Time workshop. And again, it didn't take very much time, but now I feel this sense of like, all right, like we're moving, we're doing this. Like, this date is set. I already have people committed to this. And so look at your list and say, what is going to take me the least amount of time and is going to be the most impactful? Again, not only are you going to get things that are important done, but you're also going to be able to leverage the energy that you have just from getting into that action. It's freaking powerful, you guys. So powerful. Okay. Now, the last thing that I want to mention when it comes to prioritization is really going to leverage something that I have learned from Stephen Covey. It's the 4 quadrants from Stephen Covey. And I also, I'm going to just give credit. It's called the Eisenhower box. Okay. It's called the Eisenhower box. And what this does, it allows for us to really look at the tasks that we have on our to-do list and really start deciding where they fall in the list of priorities and what we can do about them. So I love the practicality of it, because not only are you able to look at it from a space of, okay, like where does this fall in my priorities, but then what am I going to do about it, right? So you can imagine a box with 4 squares in it. And the upper left-hand square would be quadrant 1. And inside this quadrant are things that are falling under the urgent and important category. These are the things that you should do first, right? Urgent and important. So those are examples that I've already given you. It's like, I need to connect with the villa owner. I need to connect with the people that I have coming to the workshop. And so when I consider those urgent and important, those are things that I'm going to do right off the bat, right? Okay. Next, I'm going to be thinking about things that are important but not urgent. And these are considered quadrant 2 activities. You guys, if I had to tell you anything, it's that the more we can stay in quadrant 2 in our business, the more we are going to scale, the more we're going to grow, the bigger impact and income we're going to have. Why? Because we're not in a frantic energy, because we are planning, we are being proactive instead of reactive. And it allows for us to get into the space of forecasting, of envisioning. I would like to tell you that on Mondays, most of my Mondays, especially Monday morning, are spent in quadrant 2 activities. That allows me to be thinking about, what do I want my focus to be this week? What do I want my focus to be on this month? What do I want my focus to be on this quarter, this year? And allow myself to brainstorm, like, oh my gosh, yes, I'll have this workshop during that time. I'll have this person come on this time. I can see how all of the pieces are coming together. That's quadrant 2. That's forecasting. That's looking ahead. And I have to schedule that time. And it's not urgent because there's no deadline attached to it, but it is important, because if I don't plan, if I don't forecast, if I don't look into the future and create a vision for myself, my company, my impact, I am going to be living from a reactive state of being, and it's going to be constantly feeling like I'm chasing my own tail. And that is not a fun place to live. And I will tell you that my assistant does not love it when I'm in there either, right? Because everything seems like an emergency, and it is not. And so how can you give yourself space to be thinking about the future of your business? So on Mondays, those are my CEO days. And I schedule it in my calendar so that I know that I'm giving myself the space to do that. Okay. And then you want to make sure that you're scheduling activities. So like I will have to schedule time to write the curriculum for the workshop or to write the curriculum for the summit. I might have to schedule some time to write out the list of experts that I want to be featured in my summit. And I can do that as a vision casting exercise, but you have to schedule it. That's quadrant 2, important, but not urgent. Quadrant 3, you can imagine that's in the bottom left-hand corner, and that is consistent of urgent but not important things. So these are things that need to get done, but maybe are not necessarily needing to be done by me. These are things that I would then delegate. Okay, so I'm going to recap. Quadrant 1 is do right away. Quadrant 2, schedule on your calendar. Quadrant 3, delegate. So what are the things that I could do? So once I have come up with my list of who I want in my summit, maybe I want that personal touch to be able to reach out to each of my summit experts and make sure that they see my vision. But then I will delegate to my assistant to go ahead and schedule times for me to interview those people in the summit. Right? Maybe I am going to use my quadrant 2 time to put together the curriculum for my workshop, but then I can delegate to my assistant to create the graphics, to create the landing page, to create the any of the workbook and the collateral that needs to be done or updated. I can delegate to her. It's urgent, but it's not important enough for just me to do it. Somebody else can do it too. And so that's quadrant 3. And then quadrant 4, you guys, quadrant 4 are things that are not urgent and they are things that are not important. And I'm going to give you the truth of the hug right now that quadrant 4 activities need to be deleted. You need to decide, hey, maybe I should not have accepted this in the first place and I need to let that go. Maybe I just need to say, you know what? This is not important. This is not urgent. It does not need to get done. And then once you become more aware of where things are in the quadrant, you're going to start to look at things differently before you say yes in the first place, right? You're going to be like, that sounds like a quadrant 4 activity. I think I'm just going to have to pass, because if it is not a hell yes, it is a hell no. And it is going to allow for you to make room for time and energy for the things that are important to you. Friend, that is prioritization. That is creating your life by design. That is going to help you create the impact, the income that you're longing for, and to do it faster because you are living with intention and you have created your business and your life by design. And you've been able to make sure that you've left space for the things that are important to you, like your family, like your friends, like your health, like your rest, like the things that are going to keep you living in a life that brings you meaning, brings you joy. Okay. Now, if you need some help with your time, I'm going to make sure that you grab my time tracking tool that I will have inside of the show notes. You will always have access to all of my free tools on my website, which is iam-lifebydesign.com/tools. I also want to make sure that you have heard it from me that we have this amazing Maximize Your Time Masterclass. It's a workshop. It's going to be for 3 days. 3 hours on November 8th, and you are not going to want to miss it. I will have replays available, so do not stress. But if you want to work alongside of me on your time, you want to start mastering your time, you want to start maximizing the time that you have so that you do look back at this month, this quarter, this year, and you are happy and satisfied with your progress, you are not going to want to miss it. It is completely free for the time being, and I want to make sure that you guys do not miss out. So check out my time tracking tool and audit your time in the link below. Check out the link to register for the workshop. And I am so excited to continue to share with you some more time hacking tools in the upcoming weeks right here inside the Spiral Up podcast. Okay, you guys have an amazing rest of your day, and I hope that you continue to spiral up. Bye, everybody. So much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. Each honest review helps me spiral up so that I can serve you even better. Whether you're feeling a lack of impact, income, or time freedom, or perhaps you're just ready for massive momentum in your business, let's chat. Apply for a breakthrough call so that you can gain clarity. identify what's holding you back, and make a plan to spiral up. Head on over to iam-lifebydesign.com/breakthrough or access the link in the show notes. For immediate support, plug into our community, the Better Club. We focus on inspiration, tactical guidance, and support. This is a community that wants to be better, do better, and have better in life and in business, and we're going to help you do the same. Let's spiral up, friends.